Welcome to this episode of Healthy Conversations, brought to you by Athens Limestone Hospital, where we highlight the people, programs, and partnerships that shape healthcare in our community. I'm Susan Claiborne, joined by Karina Farr, and today we're excited to shine a spotlight on a program that's building the future of healthcare right here in Limestone County. Joining us are Amanda, Executive Director and leader of our Ambassador Program, and Maya, a student intern and recent graduate of the program. Today, we'll talk about the Ambassador Program, how it works, how it supports local students, and how it's strengthening our hospital workforce for the future. Thank you, ladies, for being here to join us. And Amanda, I know you are one of the executive directors at the hospital, so you wear many hats, but you're also the leader of the Ambassador Program, kind of with our workforce development. So just kind of tell us maybe just a little bit about yourself and how you kind of designed this program and what its purpose is.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us today. I'm Amanda Clardy. I've been in healthcare and HR for 23 years. We consistently talk about workforce development in every industry, but particularly healthcare. After COVID, we saw a decrease in the number of candidates who wanted to pursue healthcare, which is understandable. It was a very scary time. And we realized we were doing a great job getting into the colleges to talk to students there, but it was a little bit too late. We realized we needed to get into the high schools and generate some interest before college in healthcare careers. So our president, Tracy Collins, had the idea to start an ambassador program, and we just really sort of took it and ran with it. And it is a program designed for Athens City and Limestone County juniors and seniors. Athens Bible School and Lindsay Lane also participate. And during the program year, they come on site for lunch and learn lectures to learn about healthcare. The executive team talks about a day in the life, in operations, behind the scenes, so they can really see what it's like. And then they get to shadow, which is even more important. So they can really see what it's like and make a determination on what their interests are before college.
That's awesome. And I know how important it is to kind of, we expect kids to know what they're going to do when they go to college. So this gives them that opportunity to decide whether that's really right for them or not. So that's just great. But in addition to that, I know that we have been able to hire some employees kind of while they're going to college from the program. And Maya here is one of those students. So Maya, tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe why you decided to pursue the Ambassador Program.
Yeah, so my name is Maya Ritterbush. I was an ambassador for my junior and senior year of high school. The ambassador program was just very unique. I've never seen anything like it. It seemed like a really cool opportunity to just get my foot in the door, figure out what I do and don't like about healthcare, and, figure out how I wanted to shape my career after seeing so much.
That's awesome. So you were in the program for 2 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you have been with us as an employee now for how long?
I think a year and a half. So I started a little early as a student intern while I was still in the ambassador program. And then when I turned 18, I was able to become a ER tech.
Okay. That was going to be my next question. So you work in the ER?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I hadn't always wanted to be in the ER. I actually really wanted to do labor and delivery, but something about the ER just pulled me.
Would you say it was the ambassador program and being exposed to different things that made you change your mind on what you want to do?
Yes, 100%. I did shadow in Mother Baby at Athens, and I loved it. I was incredibly lucky. I saw a natural birth and a C-section, and it was fantastic. But then I shadowed in the ER, and it was something about the adrenaline, I think, that just got me. It just pulled me in.
That is something that's so important with nursing. People don't understand that when students go off to college, they may know they want to be a nurse, but it takes a while to figure out which area of nursing that you like. And of course, I know that's also one of the big draws of nursing is there's so many different areas and opportunities, whether you want to work with senior adults or children or something high paced like ER, or maybe something that's more behind the scenes like surgery. And so there are so many different opportunities. So this program gave you that opportunity to look at those different areas. You told us about labor and delivery and emergency. What were some of the other areas that you got to shadow or kind of learn from?
I think I really only shadowed labor and delivery, but I was able to even be like behind the scenes in registration, helping people, take them to where they needed to go and all that. But I really only shadowed ER and labor and delivery, and ER just got my heart. It did.
That's awesome. So you're going to school here locally to become a nurse
Yes,
while you're
ma'am.
working at the hospital?
Yes, ma'am. I'm at Calhoun Community College.
Okay. That's awesome. I don't think a lot of people realize how early you can actually start working at the hospital even before you've earned your healthcare degree
Yes.
in different areas.
I feel like I have from a year and a half ago, I was a high schooler, just about to graduate, and now I'm already about to step into an apprentice role here in a month or two, where I'll be working one-on-one with a nurse, doing my checkoffs and all that and everything.
That's so awesome. I think people think about internships and shadowing and stuff for careers like business. Like I did marketing, and people always talk about internships for those kind of careers, but you don't really think about it as much with healthcare. And I don't think people realize, like you said, that there are opportunities before you finish your degree that you could be learning on the job and figuring out what you like and don't like. So I think that's awesome.
It was actually a really good benefit to realize or to see the good, bad, and the ugly in healthcare and figure out what suited your interest the best and everything.
Well, I know that makes you proud, Amanda, because that's kind of the purpose of the program,
It
isn't it?
really is. And one of the beautiful things about it, we reduced our employment age to 16 so that we could employ some ambassadors as student interns and get them in sooner to start learning those skills in healthcare. And to see how she had a plan, and shadowed mother baby, and it changed to ER, which really found her heart. Healthcare is the heart business. You have to really have compassion for people and have a calling to do it. And it is workforce development at its finest. That's how we want the program to work. And Maya's also special because she got a scholarship through the ALH Ambassador Program, and we actually paying her entire tuition.
Yes.
It was the ALH Ambassador Future Nurse Scholarship.
Yes.
And is she the first recipient of that scholarship?
She is.
Okay. And we just graduated a new class, and we have another recipient in that class, don't we?
We do.
So how many scholarships has the program given out?
I would say since we started in 2022, we have probably given out 15 scholarships, close.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the money from those scholarships, where does the money for those scholarships come from?
So year 2, we developed a service project for ALH ambassadors where they plan and implement a 5K race. They get the sponsorships, and all those proceeds go to the ALH Ambassador Scholarship Fund through the foundation, and that's how we fund those scholarships.
Okay, that's a 5K here in Athens.
It is.
Kind of
It is.
downtown area.
It is. It takes you through historic downtown Athens. It's really, really beautiful race route.
Okay.
And working it is just as fun. It was just as fun.
So as an ambassador, that's part, like she said, that's part of your service project. So y'all come out and kind of support and
Yeah,
help
we
with
come
the
out. My role was to kind of guide, staying on the street, on the path and whatever, guiding people. But it was fun just getting out there early in the morning. Most people aren't up at 5:30 in the morning. But being up at 5:30 in the morning and it's, still kind of cold outside, it's just nice. It's peaceful. And then seeing everybody run by you and they're running for you. So.
Well, how did you learn of the program, Maya?
I actually think I saw it on Facebook when y'all were first advertising it. And I was kind of, do I do this? Do I not do it? And I was just like, let's get out of my comfort zone. Let's just do it. And I interviewed and got not position, but I got to be a part of the program.
Now, which school are you with?
I was at West Limestone.
Okay. So how many applicants are there each year? Or how many applications come in? How many kind of do you keep in the program?
The first year we had over 80 applicants. That was a lot. We interviewed every single one. Because everybody met the eligibility criteria. So it's super hard to select because all of these students are so involved, even now at their age in the community, volunteering at their churches, also involved in so many things in school, and so it's really hard to select. We really try to gear towards those students who are actually interested in healthcare careers. Now, sometimes they do come in once selected and they find healthcare is not for me, or maybe I want to be on the business side of healthcare. And it's a really good opportunity for those students as well to see there are so many opportunities in healthcare.
What does the process look like for someone who is interested, for a high schooler who's looking into the program?
So we have a landing page on our website under ALH Ambassadors. You can find it on that main page of our website. And all the criteria, the GPA requirements, the requirements for participation are listed out there, and the application is out there. You can just simply click on the application and it'll take you to it, and you can complete that. It opens up on July 15th, and we're going to run it to about August 15th. And then we'll close. It'll give us a little time once school starts back to generate some conversation with teachers to get the word out, but we're already getting inundated with emails from students or parents of students wanting to know when the application opens. So I anticipate we're going to have a lot of candidates this year.
And the iconic, they get a green coat or a green jacket or something like that with this program, right?
They do.
Okay, so they're wanting to know when the green coats will be passed out.
That's right. Did you like that?
They were an interesting choice, but they were warm when it was freezing cold outside.
It definitely sets you apart when you're in the hospital.
It
Everybody knows
does.
who you are,
It
what you're part
does.
of.
Yes, because one thing about scrubs is, everybody thinks, oh, that's the doctor or that's the nurse. With the green blazer on, they're like, what's going on? Well,
And we wanted to be that a prestigious thing for the students. So when they represented us at community events, also they had their green coat on, and we wanted it to be special for them.
Well, and it's kind of that step into professionalism as they're getting ready to go into college and things too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
well, so the students who are interested in a career in healthcare, it's not just students that are interested in nursing. It's students that are interested in kind of any level of healthcare.
That's correct. So we had a variety of different interests. A lot of students come in with really big dreams, which we love. I want to be an anesthesiologist. I want to be a pediatric surgeon, those kinds of things. We've had some that wanted to go to medical school that shadowed and ended up, I'm going to be a nurse. That's where I can, I feel like I can make a difference. And, a lot of times I think they don't realize also, some of the education requirements for that. We actually had one of our cardiologists, Dr. Crystal Walker, come and speak to our group last year about her journey and how she ended up going into cardiology. And it was very special for the students because I think it was a real firsthand experience of it's a lot of school and it's a big commitment. But some are interested in imaging. Being an MRI technician or a nuclear medicine technician. Some are interested in psychology and doing psychiatric care. So we had a variety of different interests.
So you're just talking about Dr. Crystal Walker coming through and speaking to the students. So the students get more than just the shadowing opportunities?
They do every Thursday of every month. Not every Thursday, excuse me. It's the third Thursday of every month. They come on campus from 12 to 2. They have a lunch and learn lecture. And sometimes it will be different modalities in the hospital, different service lines. We always try to start out with administration, so the CFO, the president, the chief nursing officer. We like to give them a little background into their career journeys. I know our president has an amazing story of how she started and, got to where she is today. And it's very inspirational for them. They realize, this is something I can do if I want to be in a leadership role. Also, we had imaging and lab and respiratory therapy come in to talk about their career paths, what you have to do as far as college to become a respiratory therapist or a med tech in the lab. Just really informational and also trying to inspire and just provide that information of this is what you need to do next if these are careers you're interested in.
That is the most helpful thing, like as a senior in high school, junior or senior, because we are so lost on, okay, but what do I do now to reach my goals and my career path and all that kind of stuff. It's almost like we want like a step-by-step. Mm-hmm. And just having people come to you and be like, if you want to be here, then these are the steps you need to take to get there.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I think that's great. And it's funny you mentioned imaging. So I helped with Ridgeline, who I work for full time. We helped organize a job shadowing day for some high school juniors and seniors, and Athens Limestone Hospital has always taken dozens of students for that day, which is amazing. But imaging seems to have been a really popular one lately. Like a lot of students seem to be expressing interest in that. Do you see that reflected in the ambassador program as well?
We do. This generation is very tech savvy, and a lot of things in imaging are, rotate around technology. And so I think that is one of the things where you can have the best of both worlds. If you have that pull towards patient care, you can also work in high technology and working, with those images and equipment. It is definitely a modality where there's a huge need. We have a shortage of candidates with those degrees, and so we would definitely encourage people. The beautiful thing about a small hospital is that you're not just siloed into doing one thing, like you become an MRI technologist and you only do MRIs. At a small hospital, you can get as many modalities as you would like, and we help you do that. And then you can do MRI, CT, ultrasound. You can do the whole gamut if you take the time to get that education. And so it really makes it exciting. You're not doing the same thing every day, and you can fill in those roles when necessary.
That's great.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize the education that's required for some of those. Some of them are 2 years, and then you can start work, and then there's different certifications you can continue your education and receive. So especially for these students, I'm sure it's overwhelming because they think what they've been told is 4 years, you got to spend a lot of money, and then you start work. And there are many different paths to that, and especially in healthcare.
There are, and I think it's also important with this program, not every student can afford to go to college right after graduation. And so we offer tuition reimbursement as a mechanism to help with that. So if they got a job as a student intern, maybe as a tech or as a registration clerk, whatever they were qualified for at that time, and they wanted to go to college and pursue a degree, then we could help them with that through the tuition reimbursement.
I just think that's just so important. And this whole program is just so important for juniors and seniors who are starting that path. So as you're getting ready to start looking through applications, what are some of the qualities that you're going to be kind of looking for this next class?
So Maya and I were talking about that earlier, and how she was the recipient of the Future Nurse Scholarship, and you recognize those qualities in people based on just a face-to-face interview. People who are compassionate, ambitious, kind of have a good head on their shoulders. They're ready to kind of hit the ground running. And so those are the things that we look for. We look for participation in the community, participation in school activities and extracurriculars. We love when students do the health programs in their high schools or at the tech school. A lot of times we'll count those hours towards their volunteer hour requirement because they do have to come in and do their clinical rotations. People who are, a lot of times we also have looked at students who might not be as outgoing or a little bit shy. And when we have selected some of those students in the past that have just flourished in this program because they just needed a little push and just needed somebody to give them an opportunity to shine. And those are my favorite stories when they really, do well in the program, and you can see how they're communicating more, they're getting involved more, they're signing up for more volunteer hours because they see that they're capable.
And they found something they're very interested in.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Maya, what would you say to someone who's thinking of applying? What advice would you give them? How would you prepare them for the program?
I have actually had a couple of previous ambassadors come to me with questions and everything, and I have always just told them, get out of your comfort zone, get your foot in the door, and just find out what you like, find out what you don't like. But the main thing is just to not hold back. You gotta find out what you like now, because you know, there's always, you can always switch around in the future, but you don't want to spend a lot of money on something and you're like, I don't know if I like this department, but you're stuck there. So the good thing about, you know, at Athens is I know a lot of people who started off in one department and have just switched and everything just because they want to find what works best for them.
Yeah.
Kind of the beauty of nursing too that you mentioned earlier. You know, you're not necessarily married to do ER nursing for the rest of your life. A lot of times you can transition to other departments, ICU for a higher level of care, or mother baby. And that's the beautiful thing about being a nurse. You don't have to specialize in anything. And ER definitely will give you that hands-on for a lot of different things.
Yes, a lot of and I think that's what I like so much about it, because we see everything on the day-to-day basis. And so it's just really cool to get experience in everything rather than just one thing. So
Yeah, and I think that's important. Like you said, there's different areas, but there's different shifts, there's different hours. It's just a very flexible, as your life changes, as you go through different seasons, to be able to kind of make those changes. So Maya, so you've made it through this program and you've got this job. So tell us what your future looks like. What's your plans?
I don't have specific plans. I know I do want to further my career after my associate's degree. But really, all I'm really worried about now is just being an amazing, competent, and proficient nurse is all my aspirations are right now.
Well, I think we can both tell you definitely have the heart for nursing. So
It takes a special person to be a nurse, and especially in the ER, you have to be very level-headed, very calming. You know, you'd seem like someone I would be happy to talk to if I was in a crisis in the ER. You would probably keep me calm.
And that's another thing, like, I get told all the time, even by family, how are you not freaking out right now? I don't know. Got nothing to freak out about.
because you work in the ER, you don't freak out in the ER, do you?
Yeah.
It takes a special person.
Well, I know Amanda is proud of you, and I know we are extremely happy to have you at the hospital. So in closing, Amanda, kind of tell us what you see as the future of the Ambassador Program. What do you hope it looks like?
Well, as you said before, we've employed ambassadors, and I would hope year over year we continue to employ them and keep them employed, which we do have some ambassadors that were in the program with you that are still employed and pursuing other degrees. I hope that really comes to fruition, that it truly is workforce development, and we are building our workforce from the program. So that's all you could hope for, is that you are growing your employees.
And you're setting a base here. So even if they do go off somewhere else, we hope they have that base where they've seen what the hospital's about and think, I want to come back to my community. So.
And that's the biggest part of it, is I love being a help to my community. So I really think that that's what drew me in so much.
Well, this has just been awesome information. Do you have any other questions, Rita?
No, that's great.
Do y'all have anything else y'all like to add or say that we didn't give you a chance to?
I just wanted to mention, just because all the calls are coming in about when it launches. I mentioned this earlier. We will do a lot of social media posts about the application opening. I believe it's already out there, so if people want to go ahead and apply, they can do that. But I'm really looking forward to meeting some new students this year.
I'm looking forward to seeing them around campus. Yeah. Thank you, ladies, for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for this inspiring episode of Healthy Conversations. A special thank you to Amanda and Maya for giving us a closer look at the Ambassador Program and how it's opening doors for students who want to make a difference in healthcare. At Athens Limestone Hospital, we're proud to invest in the next generation, not just for their futures, but for the future of our entire community. If you'd like to learn more about the Ambassador Program or how to get involved, be sure to visit our website and follow us on social media. I'm Susan Claiborne with Karina Farr. Thanks for listening and joining the conversation.